know if you guys noticed, but if you guys look around the whole player base for Call of Duty Zombies, you would realize that there's not that many happy faces. In fact, there's a lot more frowns than happy faces when it comes to a lot of things zombies. But I'm here to fix this. Yes, your savior of zombies is here to save zombies, because I'm going to tell you guys exactly how Treyarch could just make zombies fans turn their frowns into some smiles. Either way though, today we are going to go over some of the best things that would make zombies fans absolutely happy. Let's not waste any more time and jump right into this. To start this off, I think one thing that made a lot of people not entirely enjoy things about zombies was when we got Cold War and we didn't have a set playable crew, and instead it was replaced with operators. And yeah, no, let's not do that ever again. So bring back a set playable crew that we'd actually have a story follow these characters instead of following people who radio into the map and somehow that's going to replace them. I don't know. Either way, just don't do that again. Our next thing here is something that I didn't think, if you asked me during Black Ops 3 or even Black Ops 2, is something I would even ask for, because this is something that seems pretty obvious. But what I think a lot of zombies fans would like to see is if we have a return to original maps in crazy locations. I know. I mean, this wasn't something that we thought we wouldn't get, because I mean, it was just kind of the norm for a while. And then all of a sudden we had the second half of Black Ops 4's DLC season, where we were getting a bunch of remakes, and then we got Cold War, which, you know, I guess you could technically say they're original maps, but in the end, they were still just not exactly crazy locations. I mean, we're just kind of going from military base to military base, and that's not very exciting. So let's kind of go back to when we were playing on places like Alcatraz, the arenas, the trenches of World War I. Like, let's go back to that. Our next one that kind of builds off of our previous one, at least in terms of maps, is I think we should get just more maps in general. I mean, back in the good old days, we used to get 6 maps throughout an entire season, and then Black Ops 4 we did get 8, which was nice, but you know, it has other issues. But what I'm here to say is that I think we just kind of meet us in a middle ground here and not do what we did in Cold War that only gave us 4, and kind of return to what we used to have with 6, except just add 1 to that. Like, imagine we had a zombies game that launched with 2 maps and then had 5 maps throughout its season. I think that would be great, and honestly, maybe out of everything I mentioned here would be the thing that put the biggest smile on the zombies player's face. This next one is interesting, because I know that this is probably the only one that maybe won't put a smile on everybody's face, because people do have different opinions on this one, unlike literally everything else I'm mentioning here. But what I think they should do is have a return kind of fun and challenging Easter eggs, because I think that we just kind of haven't had both of those at the same time since midway through Black Ops 3. Like, even towards the end of Black Ops 3, we didn't even have this, because this is something that we just don't normally have, because normally we'll have like a funnish Easter egg, but it's so easy that it gets really repetitive, or you have an incredibly challenging Easter egg and it's not fun at all, and we just can never get the mixture of the two. And if we just could return to having both of those in an Easter egg, that would be absolutely great. But now it's time to get in some big things, like things that, hey, they might not be that realistic. But the first thing I want to mention is Zombies Chronicles 2. Yeah, that thing that the zombies community has been asking for since Zombies Chronicles 1. I mean, people, after that came out, we were all like, when Zombies Chronicles 2? Like, we need that. And, you know, let's just kind of just shut everybody up about that and just give us Zombies Chronicles 2. It doesn't have to be now, it could be with your next game, Treyarch, but eventually give it to us, for we can just shut up about it. And then immediately start talking about a Zombies Chronicles 3. Now this one is a big one, and this would actually, I think, would be the best, absolute best thing to happen to zombies. But what it would be is having the ability to play custom maps on console. and I can't stress enough how big this would be for zombies. This would be the coolest thing maybe of all time, because imagine Treyarch releases their next game. There's new mod tools. It has a ton of abilities and maybe a little bit more simplified for the average person to make the maps. But on top of all that, now we have the ability to download some of these maps, at least a decent amount of them, like maybe some verified maps that are good enough to make it to console. Just those maps you were able to download to console. Just imagine that. Like, oh my gosh, just think about it. The majority of the zombies player base is on console, and they do not have access to these crazy custom maps. And if they just had access to that, zombies would be insane. Let's be honest, that would be so huge for zombies. And this brings me to our final one, and what it is the incredibly realistic idea that we would get a standalone Call of Duty Zombies game supported by Treyarch for multiple years. I know, crazy stuff definitely is going to happen within the next few months, of course, but dude, if it did come out, holy, the world would just be a better place. I mean, think about every major problem in life that you've had or people have had. Like, they're all gone. Hey, you stubbed your toe? Well, actually, a standalone zombies game came out, so you didn't stub your toe. Hey, people are trying to start a war. Hey, they didn't because they were too busy enjoying themselves playing some Call of Duty Zombies standalone games. I mean, just think of it. The world would just be perfect. But that's going to wrap it up for this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, then definitely do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and all that great stuff. But I'm going to go. I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or when the heck it may be. And laters, guys.